Hi friends, this is April from Penguins Creative.
And Kelly from Kelly Love Letters.
Yay! This is another episode of the Stationery Cafe After Dark, where we find interesting guests, past guests to our Stationery Cafe podcast, or new people to talk about geeky stationery things. And today we have a very, very special guest. Kelly, would you tell everyone who he is?
So his name's Drew Brown, and a lot of you may know him from Goulet Pen Company. He and Brian Goulet actually have a podcast together. It's called the Pencast, and he's super fun, and I asked him if he'd want to join us, and he said yes.
So we bring you fun pen talks with Drew. I almost said Brian. So we bring you fun pen talk with Drew today at the Stationery Cafe After Dark. Hi, Drew. Welcome to the Stationery Cafe After Dark.
Hello, Kelly and April. How are you?
We're excellent. We've got our Starbucks here. What?
I have actually a type of. I just bought the regular Starbucks ground stuff, but it is still Starbucks technically.
Okay.
What are you drinking?
This is the Italian roast. I keep ground coffee in whole bean because since the pandemic reared its ugly ass head, we have been not doing the whole communal coffee situation at the Goulet Pen Company. So
Right.
I bring a massive amount of coffee every morning, and French press is not amenable to that. So I do the old drip pot.
Okay, yeah.
Yep. But I've got mug coffee and then like extra tumbler coffee.
That's what I was wondering.
I'm ready.
So, like, do you put cream in your coffee, or is it just black?
I can do either. I usually put cream in it just because it's more substantial that way. But at work, if I make it at work, like I have an AeroPress in my desk drawer that I do. Hey, desperate times and all that. But I don't deal with cream there because it's either black or the little cups that we have at work. And not doing that.
So we did have a question about like what's your go-to Starbucks order?
Oh, I just plain coffee.
Oh my gosh.
You called it.
Just plain. I like dark roast, but they never have it. It's always
right. They stop brewing after noon.
And I never want morning coffee. If it's a morning, I've already taken care of myself. So when I get Starbucks, it's like at 2 p.m. or like 7:45. And all they have is the cigarette tasting Pike, which
oh my god, I hate Pike Place roast.
But I still drink it. I drink it all the time. Oh, I know. It's like I'm in an abusive relationship with Pike Place.
So yeah, we were wondering what's the like in it's Virginia, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what's the coffee culture like out there?
This is going to sound even more pathetic because we actually have a lot of really great small coffee houses here. Okay. It's not bad, but I never go there because I live outside of the city and Starbucks is everywhere. Yeah. So they make me drink that damn Pike.
They do every time.
I know, they get me. And I'm like at Target, like, well, hey, why not walk around with a cup of garbage, But I still do it. So it's my fault.
I'm like not worried about that because actually in Seattle we have the Starbucks Reserve, and then we went a little bougie and always got those reserve beans. So it's been a while since I've had the cigarette.
Normie? Yeah.
They did the reserve thing over here for a while, and they also did that crazy brew method they have with like the little thing, or what was that thing called? It was like
he used to works at the Starbucks, so Kelly's kind of like the semi-expert here.
Well, sort of.
Do you know the thing I'm talking about? It's like
the Clover machine.
Yes, the Clover. Yeah. We had a couple of those, and I was like super excited about that because they would only do reserve with the Clover machine.
Yeah. Yes.
So that was always really tasty, but then they stopped doing it. Yeah, or like there were only a couple high volume stores that got those. So
yeah, because we. On the last Pencast episode that you did with Brian, you were talking about you booze, you buy.
You're right. That should be a rule.
That's me. I'm that person. We're
strawberry, funnel cake, light whip, add a shot of espresso, and like go low on the funnel cake crumbles.
Yeah, you buying.
No, she made her husband go get it. It's fine.
Oh, no.
I just got a grande mocha, no whip. Mine was pretty easy, but
Yeah, well, my team lead, where she was my team lead, now she's the manager. We kind of moved roles around, but she came to me after the pencast, like, you were talking about me, weren't you? I was like, maybe.
maybe.
Yeah, she asked for this whole weird steamed lemonade thing, and I'm like, no,
with the green tea.
right. But then they made it a menu item, so she was like, hey, guess what? I was like,
Oh,
not fair. Like, I don't like that.
oh,
there goes the dog. Dogs. I told you what happened.
I didn't even hear him.
Yeah. All right. So sweating it out in the closet's worth it. Awesome. April, I thought you were. I thought I heard in a podcast that you were not yet married. That you were going back to Taiwan for a wedding or something like that.
Oh no, that was my backstory episode where I talk about the journey. So I've been married since.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That was my backstory.
And when was she going to get to go and visit and all that?
Oh, that was for the real wedding.
Yeah.
Potentially.
The true Taiwan wedding.
I had a pandemic wedding last year.
Okay,
like
gotcha.
Local park, 5 people. So
yeah, I wasn't even there.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's what I was talking about. So you have yet to have the traditional wedding.
Yeah, so we haven't had like a real wedding. So that's probably next year.
Gotcha. Cool.
I'm so hyped to do that.
I'm excited because we're gonna do the stationery trifecta where we like go to Taiwan, go to Japan, and maybe like circle around Malaysia or Philippines or something.
Because it's like cheap to do that once you're there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Southeast Asia and all that.
That's
stuff.
awesome. That is really cool.
Nice.
Well, congratulations, and then congratulations again later, I guess.
Thank you. Well, Drew, we want to start off kind of like our usual question. We love probing into everyone's stationery journey because there's a reason we're here at the bottom of the rabbit hole of stationery. And you've been working at Goulet for like what, 10 years, right?
Yeah, it was just 10 years in May.
How did you even like get into it? Like, did your stationery love like go longer than that, or was it like, oh, Goulet, what is this place? And then, oh, what is this place?
Yeah, it was the latter. It was definitely the latter. I've always, I maintain that if you're a nerd about something, you can be a nerd about pretty much anything. Like I had that nerd gene. So if you talk to me long enough about anything, I'm pretty into it. I don't know if I'll be into it after the conversations end, but maybe I will, or maybe I'll just be like super engaged, be like, yeah, football and NASCAR actually do sound awesome. That's not the case, but really, if you get into it with like stats and figures and stuff with me, I'm like, oh my God, yeah. Like my cousin collects sneakers and he goes to sneaker conventions.
Oh,
and
wow! I didn't
there's everything. But whenever I'm at my grandmother's house and the family's there and he gets to going about sneakers, I'm like super into it. I'm like, for like the next day, I'm like eBay and sneakers. I'm like, and then it ends, and then it doesn't go past that. But I can get there, so it's not hard. So. Anyway, I've known Brian Goulet since the 2nd grade.
That's so cute. Oh.
Yeah, I've known him for a very, very long time. So we were buddies later in elementary school and earlier in middle school. But he was one of those guys that matured very fast, and I was one of those guys that didn't mature until like 32. So in high school, yeah. In high school, he very much had his shit together. He was like captain of this, president of this, like always, very just had it together. Like, he was the leader of the choral group, the madrigal chorus thing, and
that's how he met Rachel.
Yeah, and I was just a mess. I was just like, hey, laugh at me, look at me. I'm really, really annoying and way too much energy. So, I wouldn't say that we weren't friends, but we were definitely not super close. We were like friends of friends at that point. I still saw him plenty, and we were still buds, but didn't really hang out. But after that, flash forward, years, and in 2008, I was looking for some groomsmen's gifts for my brothers because I was getting married, and I saw that on Facebook he was making these wooden pens. So I was like, hey, Brian Goulet, let me support him, get some cool stuff for my brothers. I've only got 2 groomsmen. I can splurge a little bit. And so we did that, went over his house, saw his whole operation. I was like, dude, this is really cool. Thank you. And the next time we went over there, he was finishing them up. And my wife and Rachel like started bagging up our wedding favors with just little bags of candy. We had a really low budget wedding. We kind of did everything ourselves. So they just started bagging up everything. Brian and I were chatting, and we kind of like reconnected after that. And so we invited them to the wedding because obviously, hey, you bag up favors, you got to get invited, right?
Oh, yeah, totally.
And actually, it's funny. You get married and then 10, 15 years later, you don't really have any of those same friends. Brian and Rachel are like some of the only people that were at the wedding that we still see on a regular
Oh my
basis.
goodness,
Because
nice.
they're all old coworkers and stuff, you know.
Yeah.
But then he got out of the wood turning business. I still followed him on Facebook and whatnot. Eventually, I ended up working just a hell crap hole of a job at a mortgage foreclosure firm, like literally helping banks take people's houses in like the housing crisis, because I got laid off my other job, so I just had to.
The opposite of what you do now.
Oh my God.
I literally
It was
can't imagine
so,
you doing that.
it was awful. Nobody looked at each other in the hallways. All I did all day was examine all the crap attached to a house so that we could take care of these debts before the bank could foreclose. It was absolutely
That's so
miserable.
sad.
So one day I see on Facebook, like, hey, I need help in my garage, with the little pen business. Like, yes, please. What? Yep. Yeah. Me. Please. Yes. Thank you. Take that
No
down.
2
It's
weeks,
me.
just boom.
It's me.
Got
Oh
him.
yeah. I was like, what are you doing now again? But my wife and I went to his house again, and he had converted everything from wood shop to retail space. And
Ooh.
at the time he had one other guy working there. And my wife was just like overcome with, I don't know what, but she cried right there in the garage, because she knew how miserable I was, and she knew that this could be something that would make me happy. And she was like, yeah, Drew, this is it. I was like, you sure? This is like a guy in his
We're literally
garage,
in a garage.
do you even know what a fountain pen is? Like, I don't know, honey. She's like, no, this is, you're going to be happy. I'm like, okay, let's do it. This is great. If you're cool with it, then you betcha. So, yeah. And then the rest was kind of history, but that was the first time I ever picked up a fountain pen. Other than a random like calligraphy set my mom had that I used to try to get working and never could. But yeah, it was a blue Lamy All-Star.
Wow.
Nice. Wait, so were the wood turn pens, were those fountain?
He did both. The ones I bought were rollerballs.
Okay, yeah. Because whenever you never know with those kind of gifts, it's like, are they gonna even do this? Like, you've got to start them out with the rollerball.
Yeah.
Stationery favors though is definitely a part of my wedding in the future, and
yeah.
Illustrator gift cards. Oh, sorry, not gift card, like place cards and all that stuff. So
yeah, but you're not going to be able to do that cheaply, April. You're going to be buying that nice stuff. Like, you're not going to be able to.
Kawaii like
Yeah,
branded.
you can't do that. You're not going to have anything left for the honeymoon. Oh my God.
Yeah.
You'd be like, your husband's going to look at the budget for the favors and be like, well, I'm not going to buy him crap. Come on.
And I like on my invite list right now, my social circle for the past 2 years has just been all stationary friends. So it's like my mother-in-law and their family has a table, my parents, there's a table, and everyone else is from Instagram.
Oh yeah.
That's so
absolutely.
True,
yeah, my
awesome.
my Instagram is like 90% pen people. My
Nice.
wife handles our social circle. If I wasn't married, I would have no friends.
That's kind of neat. That's awesome.
Yeah, well, she's in the local community theater scene, so
Oh, nice.
yeah, we're pretty much the only straight people in our friend circle. So there's that. But yeah, I am relying on her for every bit of social contact.
Yeah,
That's nice.
That's solid.
We just geek out with each other this whole year.
Yeah, it's been a lot of Zoom, like with people in like California, even people not in California, just people everywhere doing the Zoom
funny.
thing.
Everyone's trying to do Zoom to reconnect with their families and friends. We're like, no, Instagram friends, let's move to Zoom now, and let's see each other in person, like video wise.
It works.
It totally works. So first pen is Lamy All-Star.
Yep.
How many pens do you have now? Like, does this job thing affect your personal wallet's financial situation?
It does, but not as much, because since I started, a big emphasis of my role has always been, just because I can, I got really into the pens pretty early, and other than Brian, I was recognized as kind of like the other pen guy. So I was always relied on to like do any tweaks, not any major repairs, but get things either decided, like, can we resell this? Does this need to go back to the vendor? Is there anything we can do? Or does the customer need to kind of take it back? So I've always been that. And because of that, I got to play with like a lot of pens. So I don't like, I don't have like a longing for a particular type of pen, because I use a lot of pens a lot of the time at work. So honestly, a lot of the pens I've acquired are stuff we've never sold, like stuff from independent makers and stuff like that. So that appeals to me a little bit more. I find like that a little bit more enticing because it's not something I get to use all the time. But I definitely have made, I definitely have made plenty of employee purchases for sure. Like no doubt about that.
Kelly works at a stationery store too, Oblation in Portland, and she's been known to, adopt the orphans. In the shop, the ones in the corners where no one buys for a while.
It's less pens and more notebooks. So if there's like this notebook that we've had to re-merchandise like 50 times, I'm like, you're just gonna come home with me. Like no one's buying you.
I'll take care of
you.
There
you go. That is altruistic behavior, Kelly.
Did you get like pen burnout sometimes? Because actually, funnily enough, all three of us right now have stationery jobs. She works as like the pen master at like Oblation, and I work now just recently for Designfield, the company that owns Midori, Traverse Company, and Plotter. And so we all get to touch a lot of new stuff.
Yes.
And I'm still in the honeymoon stage where it's like everything's so exciting. This is Traveler's Notebook, but like you being there for like 10 years, has it been like the new Trinity pen, right? Like that came out. Like,
I listened to that episode, and honestly, I think that you were the one that told me about the fact that he was even Matrix branded, because I went and told Brian. He's like, "Is it really?" I was like, "Yeah, apparently like the promo stuff had red pill, blue pill stuff on there." He's like, "Oh, okay." But April, I laughed out loud when you were talking about like, "Oh yeah, it's kind of like them and with the black raincoats." Black raincoats, yeah. That's pretty much it. That's about right. You nailed it. Like clearly,
I do not know Matrix.
No. I mean, no. That pen's boring. So no doubt about that.
So boring.
Yeah, but I think that Sailor's been doing a lot of the crazy colors. I'm sure somebody was asking about a pretty standard one. So there you go. But no, fair. I don't think I get burned out because there's always something new, and I am involved in the discussions about new products that we carry. So, I participate in that meeting, and we have discussions about like, is this worth it? What's the demand like? When I was a customer care manager, I would do my best to bring that, customer perspective. Like, are we being asked about this? What's the reputation like, et cetera. So yeah, I think there's always something new and excited to be interested about and to learn about. And there's not a day that goes by that I don't learn something new. And the more you learn, the more opportunities you have to get excited. And I've never had a problem getting excited.
It's apparent. I love watching you guys on YouTube. And I mean, you can listen to your podcast, but I feel like watching you guys, the facial expression as like, sometimes there's like that lapse between like understanding and wanting to answer certain questions. I loved all that.
Yeah,
that's why we keep recording through Zoom. It's like you have to see the other person's face.
Yeah, I get really stoked. I'm normally pretty introverted, which surprises a lot of people because at work when I'm like geeking out about fountain pen stuff and honestly just being around the people that work at Goulet.
That's all of us too.
Yeah, I think that's a lot of fountain pen people. I think that in your normal state, we're pretty much like, all right, a group of 6, that's fine. Anything more than that, I'm shutting down. I'm sorry. I'm finding a dark corner with a cup of coffee and I will lurk. But when you have a kid, you can get like, I'm gonna go watch the kid.
You're right. Yeah.
So,
my excuse is my dog.
Yeah.
He can't go out. I mean,
but there's something about this community and this hobby that just kind of gets me really going. And I mean, it's validation that I'm definitely in the right field, but there's an X factor. I don't know. I can't really explain it, but whenever I'm at work, I'm just on. I'm in a different mode, and I'm just perpetually excited. And any other time I'm around, like why in the world do I want to go to Pen Show next weekend? Like that wouldn't fit me. Like I don't even like concerts anymore because there's too many people. But yet I'm like, no, I want to be in there with the people. Like I'm so excited about just talking to you guys, like, just to connect with new folks that I know I'm going to like. And that's just what this community is. You don't really, you don't even have to know anything about them. You know that through this shared interest, there is already an existing connection there. And it's not hard to just, confirm that connection.
Yeah.
Exactly. I
That's
had
true.
like a panic attack going to like this networking thing for work. And then, like the next day, I could go to like this meetup with like 20 strangers. And then we're just talking about our Hobonichi or our pen stuff. And we're
Yeah.
so stoked for San Francisco Pen Show
Oh my
because
gosh.
we're both going there too. It's going to be my first official pen show. I think I've been to one before, but you know, like you said, I think it's definitely the passion that people has about pens. And we're willing to throw like everything behind to just like you know focus on that passionate thing that really makes it like it's not weird to talk to strangers because you know they're
Yeah.
like you said nerds
One
and
of
geeks
us.
about this. We speak the same language, we all have this book, like you know we all have this pen.
Yeah.
It's the best.
And then there's also something fun about knowing that if you can connect on this one thing, odds are there are other things that you don't know about yet that you can also connect on. There's
Yes.
all those Venn diagram hobbies that
Oh,
you
yeah.
know usually follow suit.
That's true.
And like stationery, I think also works really well with like cafe. With us, it's very much about cafe journaling and like you know being in these kind of like I think environment where we have good drinks, good food, and the journal and the pen next to each other. And it's just a great combination that appeals to many people, even if they don't like journal as much as we do. But they like a good cup of coffee or like some food, and then that little, I guess, intimate but also super relaxed
Mhm.
social setting
Yeah.
to
Yeah,
kind of meet each other. So
I think that has to be universally appealing. Like that environment is just that's a good environment to be in.
And like the idea, I just have this vision of like a gigantic wooden table that's super long, like Last Supper, you know, that kind of a table, just like
and everyone's
everybody.
just and spread out and all that stuff. Have you seen like have you been to like a meetup or where people just like spread out like everyone on the table, pens, pens,
Not one gigantic table.
pens.
Usually at pen shows, there's like you know your pen show after dark moments where everybody goes to the bar or the you know in hotel restaurant, and there are several tables usually where people just kind of break open all their cases and stuff like that. But I do believe that they need to set up some sort of Last Supper situation next time,
Right.
just so that we could achieve that visual.
Last year I heard the same.
I just
Not
picture
last
Brad Dowdy in the center, just like
yes,
you know,
he's in the
with
center.
with his arms out. Yeah.
That's so great. We have to someone please like Photoshop that if you're listening.
Let's make that happen.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I think it was 2 years ago at the San Francisco Pen Show. They had to kick everyone out from the bar and then from
really?
the reception part of the bar because they were just in there till like 1 a.m.
Oh my
or
God,
something.
that's so funny.
It's the best. Oh,
Yep.
the-
I think that happened to us in Atlanta one time, or the only time I had been there. I've only been there once, but yeah, that's a thing for sure. Closing down the pen bar.
I love it. So we're gonna go into some questions. I don't think these are lightning ones yet. We have some categorization, so like tame questions,
Mhm.
the spicy questions, and the escalated questions. So we'll start with the tame one because it's just kind of like you know we're gonna ask some really basic, and then like your opinion, like Kelly's preference and my preference, and kind of go around like that. So I guess the first question, a lot of people know that about mine already, but like what's your preferred like pen color theme style and from your own collection? Like
Hmm. I don't know if like I'm always like searching for the next thing. It's hard. I'm not satisfied yet. Yeah,
and if you spread out all your pens, like
Mhm.
what's the majority of it like?
Or are they all chaotic?
Like-
They're pretty darn chaotic because I switch off between buying pens for the nibs and then buying pens for the material. So I've got like boring, exciting, but like it's more exciting under the hood, you know.
Nice.
So you know, there's something else going on there. Calm down. Yeah, generally, I'd say that it's a pretty good mixed bag. I will say it's sort of bland. Looking at it, you know, I have some, you know, some neat acrylics, some, you know, good celluloids, but I don't have anything super bright. I really am sad that I don't have a good assortment of those kind of bright pastel-y sailors. I need some of that in my life, but. Yeah, overall, I know, but I feel like it's like going into like you know one of those really cool furniture stores where you can't just buy one thing. You're like, I want at least 5 of these.
Yes.
You know, I can't just get the coffee table. I need the coffee table and the chairs and all the other stuff, the little magazine holder and yeah.
Nice.
So I need lots of sailors. But yeah, there's not one particular style that I gravitate towards. Whatever piques my interest. I will say that one thing I've been missing out on is an Urushi pen, and I actually sold. Ooh, that was nice. Well done. Very cool. It was like I felt like I was in the claw machine in Toy Story. But so I sold like about six pens and got up enough money to send one of my pens to get Urushified. So yeah, finally going to get that done. So that's going to be a while because obviously that takes forever. But I think when that gets done, that'll be my new go-to pen.
And then Brian won't be able to touch it because he's allergic.
Yes.
She's a fan.
Hands
You can
off.
tell.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
She knows everything about you guys now, like family situation.
No. There was a comment about that when I mentioned that on one of our shows. So yeah, they saw right through my ruse.
And yours is obviously pink and like flashy, kind of lime green.
Yeah.
Like you have that vibe with the exterior, right?
Like this is one of my favorites. It's the pink
PGS or no, like the Pro Gear Mini.
It's a Pro Gear Mini. It's part of the Zodiac series.
Oh,
so I don't know if you can even tell. Probably not, but it's got a Taurus on the nib.
I do. I can tell. Yeah, it's the circle with the little scoop on top.
Yeah, because I'm a big astrology nerd, and also I love this color of pink. And when this came out, I was like, Mom, can you get this for me for my birthday?
Because we're still 30 years old.
I think that was when I was like 28 or something. But yeah, good enough.
Young and crazy at 28.
It's just green. Like for me, everyone adds me now. Like whenever they see a new pen come out on Instagram and they're like, "April, it's green," or "April, it's melon soda."
Like the new Pelican green. That one is really cool.
The
Soveron or whatever.
Soveron.
Yeah, Suveron. I don't know.
I don't know the word, but it's green.
It's expensive though, right?
It's expensive, but pretty.
I think, like it's more than it used to be.
I'm just looking to see what color pens I have here. I'm just seeing if there's any rhyme or reason to any of this. They're all pretty dark and boring. Wow, says a lot about me. Yeah, I've got like my Pollard Willows Van Gogh, Black Lamy 2000, Black Namiki, dark greenish gray Namiki, dark red Namiki. So yeah,
kind of on the muted, but like once you start writing it, you get like ooh, like like you said, it's about the inside, what's under the hood. Yeah,
most of these are nibby, but these custom impressions are just I think really really stunning cellulose pens.
That's glamorous.
Wait, is that a Pilot?
This is a Pilot Custom Impressions LE. So a lot of the Custom Impressions pens look, more standard cigar-y, like this one.
That's beautiful, though.
This one is, I like the flat tops a lot better. They're not common, which is why I like it so much.
She's got the special ones.
Yes,
I'm all about that.
I want one more. Because I want 3 of them. I only keep 3 pens inked up at any given time.
See that? I don't understand that personally because I have like 30 pens inked up at a time.
Oh, well, I can define that for you very quickly, April. It is because I lack discipline, and if I have to clean, if I have more than 3 pens inked up, then I will never ever clean them. So it is merely a trick to fool myself into some sort of a cleaning discipline.
No, that makes sense. Yeah. I've been through phases where I ink up like 2 pens. And then like I'm currently in the inked up 10 pens phase, but I think I'm slowly delving back into 2 pens because lately my obsession has been gel pens. Do you use gel pens? Like, do you? Like,
no, but I would if they were around.
Yeah, I have a problem. Gel pen galore. Just like I was like 1/3, no 1/4, probably 1/5 of my collection.
Yeah, well, I mean, because they're cheaper and they're easy to accumulate.
And the Japanese
for the listeners, April just pulled out a Donkey Kong sized barrel of gel pens that she had to lift with literally all of her might. So.
And I just got another bundle, like this much handful from Uniball.
Yeah, roughly 9,000 pens there.
Yeah, they sent over some pens for April, and it was like, oh, more gel pens.
Nice.
Yeah.
I would
Happy about
definitely
that.
use more of that if I did journal more often, because I do find there's a lot of appeal on breaking up your design structure with different colors. And because I don't do that, I don't have a need for all of that.
It's
My
funny
journaling
because
is
that definitely is a thing, but for both of us, like I tried color, what do you call it? Color coding my
Mhm.
thing. It broke after second day, like my color coding, and then it just became like this week it's all green, next week it's pink, green, orange, and then the next week it's blue, orange. So it's not about structure, but more like chaos.
Yeah. Oh, it's completely chaotic if you look in my planner. It's just.
You're thinking of you. We could have shown him.
Well, I also have my like weeks here. That's like, I don't know. I feel like every time I write in this,
You call it rainbow vomit.
it's
no,
like
unicorn vomit.
unicorn. Well, where's a really crazy page?
I don't know what you're talking about,
I guess
Rachel.
this
All your
isn't
stuff
that
is
crazy.
That's not crazy at all. That is super clean and structured and beautiful and organized. What are you talking about? Y'all, we have a different definition of chaos, because y'all that looks amazing. That looks beautiful and gorgeous. And April, I've seen your Instagram. That looks freaking amazing too.
I could spend
It
like
is
all day looking
stunning.
through her Hobonichi. It's every time I come up here.
My chunky Hobonichi, about an inch and a half thick now. This is the Avec, so the first 6 months. Do you use notebooks? She said you have a Traverse notebook.
I saw it in the last episode.
I have a whole mess of crap. I'm just super pathetically ADD about all of my notebooking. Let me see what I got here. I've got. Okay, so yeah, I got this thing from a pen show years ago. It's a Franklin Christoph wax canvas thingamabobber. And then I've got some random stuff in here. I got a random traveler's notebook that I chopped in half or something that I don't use anymore, but now I put the chopped in half thing in here. But there's no rhyme or reason to it. There's like this thing I started and gave up on, this thing I started and gave up on.
That sounds about right.
More things that I started and gave up on. And then I have, let's see. And I have this thing, which was given to me by Penboy Roy, because we share a love of the Uncharted video game series. And this is quasi fountain pen friendly paper, but it was supposedly going to be my gardening journal, and it kind of was for a little bit, but then I stopped. So then that's not a thing anymore either.
I think gardening's not a thing anymore.
No, he's really into the gardening.
Really?
Stuff.
Yeah, gardening is continuing, but me writing about it is not. And then I've got this little dingle dongle and got a little owl. I've got an owl dangly thing. So that's I'm fancy. I'm fancy. And then this was supposed to be a kayaking journal where I would document my trips and the water level and everything like that. Did that for 3 kayaking trips, and then.
Oh, wow.
I feel like you're kind of like us. That's like, we don't say when it ends, but we always share when it started. Like we have, I personally have like a few passport. I just spent like 2 hours on Twitch the other night, taking out everything, putting it apart, giving it definition and justifying the purchase. And then they don't know what happened today. So
there's also a Leuchtturm some lines a day 5-year journal downstairs that I did for like half of 1 year, and now I look at it and just get sad that I am not documenting my
really good
child's
I'm not
childhood.
very good at my 5-year journal.
I've kept up with my 5-year Hobonichi. I think I've done every day since 2020.
Whoa.
Yeah. Oh, I'm on it.
I'm on year 3 of my 5-year journal and really hoping year 4 will work out for me. So.
Mine, if I started now, it would start in like 2018 and then jump to 2021. So who the heck knows what's going on there? I need to take it off the bookshelf. Like I'm not ever gonna see it there. It needs to be like in front of my face.
Yes, that's the thing, visibility. That's all we keep saying. That's why my desk is a mess right now, because I'm like, everything needs to be out here, so I'll remember to use it.
Yeah.
That's why we get those acrylic drawers. You got them from Muji. I went to the Container Store the other day.
Candy store.
Yeah. Got some acrylic stuff. I'm finally organizing.
My husband's a car geek, and he keeps telling me the garage is full, and I'm like, I don't understand what you mean. Like, I can just buy a second garage. Like, what are you saying?
Storage units, bomb shelter.
Exactly. Temperature control cooler.
Yes.
Exactly.
Nice.
I'm sure your stuff is smaller than all of his car stuff. So
That's true.
Exactly.
Hundo.
yeah. So I mean, this relationship is 50-50, sir.
Nice.
Just gonna get that as a
Until
soundbite.
my notebooks until my notebooks occupy the same square footage as your automobile parts, I've got room to go.
That's
I completely agree. I'm going to quote you on that.
Go for it.
So I don't know if you and Brian, did they talk about it yet, TRP, the Tomoe River paper fiasco? I know it's on top of a lot
No,
of
we
people's
haven't
mind.
talked about it yet. Honestly, I really appreciate the light that CY has been shedding on all
I know,
of that.
right? Oh, he knows
It's been really
why.
helpful. Yeah, honestly, I listened to that. In brushing up on my Stationery Cafe history, I wanted to. That one stuck out at me because I really wanted to listen to him. He's such a cool guy. He's kind of like a fountain pen celebrity to me.
I know, right?
Yes, he really is.
My favorite people are the people that folks in the community always know can help them with an answer, and he's one of them.
Yeah.
And let's see, Stephanie Lau, all the hobbies. She's another one. Kimberly, sorry, why not? I didn't say Stephanie. Kimberly is another one where like she's always a good go-to person, and I just love that we have these people in our community who, like, I got you. Let me figure this out. And I'm like, man, I love that so much, and it reminds me that I'm really a part of an awesome community. So so hearing about that was cool. It's we hear the same stuff. We heard that they're not doing the machines right now. We've got enough stock that's going to last us because we have these like Goulet branded notebooks that
that's what I was going to ask.
Is it the old stuff?
It's the I don't even know because I tested some that had the old stuff and the new stuff.
A lot of people can't tell. Seriously, yeah.
The only thing I could tell, because I tested with a lot of inks, and the only way I could tell is that the new version really absorbed Noodler's 54th Massachusetts in a funky way that the other one didn't. But other than that, I could not tell a difference. So I don't know if we have the new stuff or the old stuff, but we are going to have enough that we think through the end of the year. So we should be good for the rest of 2021. And by that point, we should have a better idea of whether or not they're going to, flip the machine on, because I'm sure it's just a button, right?
And then like tons and tons of yens behind that to maintain it. I know, right? Like for us, because we're such Hobonichi geeks, everyone's like also constantly coming to the Stationery Cafe and like, so what do you guys know about Hobonichi? And I'm like, I wish I knew, because my insider connection to Hobonichi, quit a few years ago. So we're still friends, but like I don't have any more insider knowledge.
Yeah, I mean, and really, they don't even know what they're gonna do. So
they don't know, to be honest.
Yeah, there's really we just kind of got to wait it out and see what happens. I mean, for a year in 2020, everybody thought Retro 51 was going to shut down.
I know, that was so annoing at work.
And then they didn't.
I kept being like, "This is the last time you'll see this pen," and I'm like, "I like that customer."
So,
well, we didn't know.
No. So it's kind of like that. It's like, okay, maybe they will shut down forever, but maybe they won't. The product isn't super high demand, so something might happen. It's just too early to tell. But we've got enough paper for the end of the year. And of course, we could always go to Cosmo Air Light or something like
that. Our buddies have some feelings about Cosmo Air Light.
I don't like Cosmo Air Light.
I haven't tried the chunky stuff. Like I've tried like
the chunkier ones are the ones that are in the Yamamoto.
And the Musubis have those as well. So I want to get my hands on some of that.
Yeah, there's that feeling when you like kind of slide your fingers across. It's like squeak, squeak, squeak.
It's a little squeaky. Yeah.
Is it really? I've seen, because I went to the Musubi website and looked at it. And I'm like, wow, you can see the texture.
Yeah.
If you can see, I'm like, okay, that's going to be a different writing experience. Because that's the thing. Like when you're deciding on carrying new paper, it's like, is this going to provide a different experience? And the answer is almost always like, not really. But then if you say that, then like, what are you gonna do? You're gonna carry like 3 pieces of paper. So there's all this other stuff and considering, and then golly, I don't know about you guys, but shipping paper is another thing you got to think about, because it's way different than shipping a pen. It's like you have a lower cost product that's heavy, and so you got to find something that's going to be interesting enough to do well. What do you guys think of the Midori paper? Like the
love it.
Yeah. Okay.
I've always been a fan, even before I started working for Design Field. Like my new job is super recent, like 3 weeks ago. But like even before that, I love all the Midori notebooks. Their 10th anniversary. I don't know if you got to partake in that. That was like 3-4 years ago when they came out with the special A5 notebooks with the different different designs inside. So aside
No,
from
all
the
the stuff
blank
we got
grid,
in was
dot
just
grid, there's like
all ours
sketch.
was just plain white. But
Yeah, it was.
it
Yeah.
definitely
awesome.
looked utilitarian. I mean, it's
You
just
guys-
there's no design or anything like that. So
You guys
you know,
don't carry the Midori, like the MD notebooks, do you?
no, that's what I'm talking about.
That's they only
Oh.
had the plain one. Yeah.
Oh, the plain ones. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I love MD paper. I even have like a notepad thing where you can tear it off, and it's like it's glued on 2 sides.
Mhm.
So you
Yeah,
can
we
tear it
got
off
those in too.
this way or
They're
like
so
this way.
good.
Those are so good, and I couldn't find them from many places at first, like
Yeah.
3 years ago. But then these past 2 years, like you
Yeah,
guys
I
finally had it, right? And then it's like, oh, thank goodness,
Yeah.
people are carrying it. Like,
Yeah.
I have to buy from
I tried
overseas.
those. I tried those out, and I tried out some sticky notes that definitely did not stick, like hardly at all, as well. And then that big thick stitched notebook.
I love the codex.
The codex.
I don't have one, but I feel like it's like it feels like it's an enigma.
I have one, but I
You know?
haven't used it yet.
Really?
It lays
Yeah.
super flat.
Yeah, it like just opens, right? And
Yeah,
so,
it
yeah,
lays really
Midori
flat.
is definitely, I think in Asia, my friends back home in Taiwan, like everyone's a fan. Midori One Day One Page, that was their go-to as opposed to the Hobonichi. So
Yeah.
I like Midori paper.
A
but
lot of people like we have I don't know if you've in our episodes if you remember hearing about Jason.
No, I don't.
Jason is like one of Oblation's like best customers. He's always like looking into the new stuff, and he loves fountain pens, of course. So his thing is like he's like, I hate Midori paper because it's so grippy, or it's kind of
textured. No,
it's not smooth and glossy like Tomoe River. I'm
Oh.
like, no, but I really like the way that it still has the good properties with ink, but it's not super thin. I don't know.
I guess
think-
it just doesn't show sheen or shading much.
Right.
Probably. Yeah.
That's one thing that I've kind of changed my taste on as the years have gone on, because I deal with a lot of problematic pens, and I appreciate a paper that's textured a little bit, because if you're dealing with a pen that might have slight baby's bottom, it's like
Right.
this doesn't really need a lot of work. It's just enough where it doesn't work super well on super slick paper. If you put it on something with a little bit of texture, it's fine. So from a utilitarian standpoint, something with a little bit of texture will perform,
Yes.
better on a variety of nibs from different manufacturers, because some manufacturers really, really polish their stuff hardcore, and some manufacturers, don't polish their stuff, smooth at all. Like Aurora and Sailor, 2 companies that, use a pretty coarse grit of polishing. And because of that, their nibs are a little bit more grippy.
Yeah,
That's true.
That's true.
Yeah. So I'm sure with the TRP thing, despite everyone hoarding and stuff, I'm like chill. I'm not really buying any extra, because I'm like, they'll figure it out. Probably by like within next year, TRP Max, as Japanese do, like, the movie Godzilla Max, Godzilla Extreme version, like at the second version of the movie, they always add those
Tomoe
things.
River Max.
Yeah, I think something.
Wait, what's Godzilla Max?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't know.
No,
Godzilla.
like in Japan, in
Oh, in
movies,
Japan.
like in
Oh, okay.
Japan, when movies come out with like the second season or like the sequel, they always add like Max, MAX, capitalized to the movie.
I thought you were talking about a Godzilla movie that I'm not aware of.
No,
because
that's
You got me
made
excited
fun of
for
the
a second.
coronavirus like that. They're like the Corona and then 1.0 Corona Max, Corona Impossible, and like in Corona. So I'm just saying, like,
Okay.
TRP is gonna find its way out, like, or someone's gonna do something better.
You can't be teasing me with non-existent Godzilla movies, April. That's not
Sorry.
get me all excited.
Oh my god.
And I think the final question in this category, blank, grid, dot grid, or ruled. What's your preference?
Dot.
Nice.
Dot,
Samesies.
dot grid.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Do you think ruled is over and we should just stop?
Kill it. Kill it. Burn it all.
In Japan, actually, dot grid is not selling well, and I'm like, I don't
Really?
understand. And they're wanting to discontinue the dot grid or something like that. But we're working on that communication.
Let's just be like, yo, let's just insert the clip of this episode. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man.
All right.
Dots can be lines. They don't
I know.
understand.
They can't be, and like even like cross dot grid or something, right? Like cross grid, they look like lines a little bit.
Yeah, that's
Just have
fine.
to like zoom out.
Yeah.
Okay, Kelly, you want to take the spicy category?
Okay,
So
spicy.
lightning rounds now, probably.
All right. Most recent pen purchase.
Pen purchase would have been, oh god,
I know, I couldn't remember either.
I've been buying a lot of cases recently, so I'm having a hard time thinking about what pen I bought. It was probably just a retro.
Oh man, a retro
with the cat.
Yeah.
The one with the cat. The one.
No, I think it might have been the my unicorn one.
Oh, that one's cute though.
Ooh, that one's nice.
Yeah, it's amazing.
That's a ballpoint, right?
Yeah, rollerball. Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was okay.
Well, they do both. They do fountain, roller, and ballpoint.
Oh, okay. Some of them they don't. Or
Mhm.
maybe we just don't carry all of them at Oblation.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't remember like a last fountain pen I got though.
Or it could be any pen.
Yeah, it could be any pen.
Like I my recent one is the Sarasa Grand Special Limited Edition.
And I have the same one.
Yay.
Oh, okay, make me feel left out. Thank you. With my unicorn retro.
Sarasa Clip gel pen that she says her holy grail, and mine is the Signal DX.
Uniball Signo. Yeah.
But yeah,
I was thinking about picking up a TWSBI VAC 700 Iris, but they sold out again.
Jason bought me one.
Jason.
Oh, okay, Jason.
Because I like.
Oh, and tell him about TWSBI's comment.
Oh yeah. So I don't know if you saw on TWSBI's Instagram, they just kind of low key replied to someone in a comment, and they were like, "Yeah, we're gonna release the Iris in a Diamond 580."
I didn't see that comment, but I had maybe heard a little bit of something about that.
I didn't even hear about it. My manager doesn't tell me everything. But
She usually gets the scoop before all of us because working at a pen shop and stuff. But like, how many stationery store you got?
I mean, it'd be crazy not to, right? The success of the VAC 700 has been astounding. So why not put it on a more successful pen?
Right. I know. I love the Iris. The VAC 700 is kind of too bulky for me, but I like it anyway.
It's got a pretty righteous step too on the grip.
Yeah, it does. I don't know about that, but I'm making it work.
Yeah.
The 580s supposedly coming out soon.
Oh my God, do you think it's going to be like the ribbed kind? You know what I'm talking about?
The ALR.
It's so nice. Oh my God.
Does that freak you out, or are you cool with that?
Oh,
the
I
texture?
love that. I think it's
some
great.
people cannot even.
But like how? It's the best.
Oh, it's a texture thing. If you the feeling of your fingers on that really really fine texture. Oh, like have you seen those tactile turn pens that are really? Some people cannot touch them. Like they cannot.
Is that you?
No. I touch them. I like them.
No, we've got a couple people at work that picked them up and just like dropped like, oh no. Can't do it. It's a texture thing. Some people, it freaks people out.
Wow.
Doesn't bother me. I think it's fine.
Okay, so Sailor, 1911 or Pro Gear?
Pro Gear.
Yep, of course.
Pro Gear all the way.
It's the best pen.
I was trying to defend 1911 a little bit, like, well, they don't have enough exciting colors. If they had fun colors,
or if I do like the Wicked Witch. I think that was fun.
Would have been better as a Pro Gear.
Are you with me that they should make a Sasquatch pen in that line?
Oh, I heard that. Yeah, and I 100% agree because it's on theme. Like, why not? And
Nessie,
the one thing that I did that I was telling myself when I was listening to you say that, I was like, it needs to be a king of pen though.
Oh
it
my
needs
God,
to be,
of course.
If it's a proper Sasquatch, that thing needs to be a chonker.
That's so true. I love that.
Which means none of us would be able to afford it, but still.
Right, exactly. That's fine. I can just look at it at work.
Mm-hmm.
And adopt it like 2 months later.
Okay. Here's a super spicy question.
Bring it.
Rico QC.
Your take.
that brand's so funky. Like I want to love it so much. And every time I get excited about it as just a pen, I'm like, yay. And then I write with it. I'm like, oh, and the nib manufacturing is all over the place. Like sometimes it's Jovo, sometimes it's Box, sometimes you don't know. And it's just not consistent.
Really? With
Yeah.
Kuwait? Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I've heard Pen Addict Brad Dolly talk about that.
They flip flop. And we've asked and they were like, which one is this?
And remember the most recent one, the lilac with the printing, like error right there.
Yeah, there's collection versus Quick.
Yeah, the lavender. Sorry.
Yeah, it's just not consistent enough to So that's my thing. It's I don't even know if it's inconsistent in quality. It's just inconsistent in
maybe that's
its manufacturing.
That's why, like, when I'm helping customers at work and they're like, okay, let me test a fine. I'm like, well, what if this fine isn't like another fine? We're just kind of going by the seat of our pants here.
Well, and your tip is like for people who wants to buy one, right? Like try it out or have like people try it out. I know Yoseika Stationery in New York actually helps people test out the nibs first, just to kind of do their own in-store QC before they send it out. Like I guess that's the reason why I haven't gotten any Kaweco yet. Like I mean, I've heard about all these stories and I'm just like, I don't want to deal with it.
Yeah. I always
it's a bit of a grab bag, and I think a lot of it depends on ink as well.
Yeah, that's true. Mm-hmm.
Some folks love them, and then some folks I'm like, I don't get what the big deal is. So
I mean, I have like 4.
Yeah.
I'll save up for the Pro Gears.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay, here's a good one. Do you prefer, for your personal collection, ink samples or full bottles?
Samples for sure. I work at a pen company. There's 700 of them in the warehouse. Like, why in the world would I ever buy a bottle?
I mean, I do feel that, but I also have a lot of bottles.
We're splitting the whole like Colorverse United States 10 bottles,
I'm so
right?
excited.
Coming soon there.
Yeah, I switch and swap out because I mean there's so many to try. Like, why if there's 700 ink samples back there? Why on earth would I limit myself to a bottle that I have to use?
That's so true.
That's so true. Do you use the fountain pen companion, and like what's your count right now? Like
no, I have not. What?
Oh, that's like a website that someone in the community developed to insert your like ink sample or ink bottle collection to show.
Was that the thing you were talking about where you can like sort paper by all those wacky properties?
No, that's
a different one.
Fountain Pen Love, but there's this other one called Fountain Pen Companion.
No, I'm not familiar with that.
You insert data, or like you kind of like put up your collection.
It's like a spreadsheet for your own,
and then you can sort
share
by like ink bottles, samples, and there's like leaderboards of how many people are like on top, right? That it's very cool. It's very geeky, and I just love that someone did that for free, and it's like a community thing. Yeah,
I'll have to check that out. No, I did not know about that.
I actually haven't done it either. I think I'm too lazy.
But he has 700 bottles. It's gonna take you like a week to insert.
Oh no, I'm not saying I have that many. I'm saying the company sells over 700 colors, so I have that like available to me.
So I actually have an extra question now that you brought that up. With is there a person at Goulet like dedicated to making samples, ink samples?
Yep.
Because I feel like that's such a cool thing, and people ask about that at my job all the time, but we're like such a smaller scale that I don't think it makes sense for us to do it.
I mean, there's sometimes where it doesn't make sense, like with Colorverse is a great example. Like, you know how many of those boxes we'd have to unbox to sample those small inks? We'd be left with like an insane amount of the large bottles. And, it would quickly become totally, skewed because everybody would want those smaller shimmering inks. And then
that kind of defeats the purpose of selling them.
Yeah. So there are definitely some times where it doesn't make any sense at all. I mean, it has to make sense for you.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's cool. Oh, okay.
We're going into the
escalated questions. Okay.
Ooh.
How many, if any, ink bottles do you have?
Right now, I think I might have like 5. But then like
10 years and you got 5?
No, I'm telling you, I only use samples. Like, why on earth would I need to buy a bottle? So I always have
a healthy relationship with the stationery, not like us.
He has self-control.
I write all day, like, constantly at work. But I use Noodler's Black specifically for anytime I'm testing a
Nice.
pen. That's what we've standardized at
The
Goulet.
benchmark. Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
So I use that a lot of the time. And then, personally, I only keep 3 pens inked up at any given time. So usually I use those to experiment with new inks. Like if we carry a new line, like we just picked up all of Private Reserve. Like I haven't used some of those in years. We carried them last back in like 2014, 2015.
Yeah.
So I need to
Okay.
refamiliarize myself with those. I've been working with those, so honestly, I have a harder time going back to ones that I just like because I need to learn more about new stuff like Diplomat inks. I haven't even used a lot of those yet. We just picked those up like 2 weeks ago. Like I need to use those inks.
Well,
So
that's actually a perfect segue
Segue.
to the next question.
With the glass pens.
Do you use them to test? Like,
oh,
do you
constantly.
have
Yeah,
glass-
when I do the ink swabs for our swab shop whenever a new
nice.
line comes in. Now I do. It wasn't always me. I was like the pandemic go-to as I was the pandemic go-to for a lot of things. Like, all right, Brian, I'm just going to start recording videos with my phone and just my hands now. So like, it's like, all right, whatever we can do, it's got to work right now.
Yeah.
So when I do that, I use a glass pen for sure. I love them.
So, have you ever broken a glass pen?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
I've
Probably.
broken like 4.
I think I've broken 3.
Yeah.
I've
Yep.
not broken any yet.
It's always when I'm cleaning, when I'm drying the tip, that's when I break it every time.
Oh no, I'm
get
doing
too
something
aggressive.
stupid. I'm doing something stupid. Like one time I was like I did like a swab and I'm like, oh, let me do like some really cool spritzes or something like that.
Oh,
So wham,
yep.
just stab the paper.
That's where I saw that going.
Oh yeah.
Okay, and then if you can think of it, what's your least favorite pen purchase?
Oh, there have been a couple. Let's see.
Like Waco. I'm just
Least
kidding.
favorite purchase. I mean that definitely. I have not really messed around with that much. Oh my gosh. Least favorite. Oh man.
My least favorite was a Pilot Decimal EF nib.
It's so scratchy.
So scratchy, and I got that for my graduation present. Like to myself, it's my first grown-up $100 pen, and it's like, eh.
Yeah. The EF is so scratchy.
That's tough because I never just gave up on a pen. Like I'd always either fix the nib or
That's great.
find it another home. So it never really stayed bad or stayed with me long enough for me to really.
Yeah, that's true. I still
implanted
mine.
Yeah, I would either get rid of it or fix it and make it awesome. But so I'm trying to think of like, is there something in my collection that's just been sitting around and I look at, I'm like, oh, why are you still here? And I don't think there is.
Nice. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a crappy answer though.
Do you have any, Kelly?
I feel like
She was having a hard time answering this too, and I'm like, oh, well, I guess that means you guys really like your pens. And
Well,
Oh nope, I got one.
Oh.
It was the Retro 51 fountain pen. It was both. I have 2 of them. I have the Montana exclusive that we sold, and the sweater shark.
I love the sweater shark.
Santa Jaws. Yeah. And I love the pen. But that thing just dries out so fast.
I don't
And
like
that
my
one-
Retro 51 rollerball too.
That one, I love the rollerballs. Rollerballs are super reliable in my experience. But the fountain pens, I think that I added an O-ring on the cap to try to like keep it more airtight, and still it just dries out so fast. And I love it so much. Like I'm not going to get rid of it because I love the design. It was one that we came up with.
Yeah.
I know, but
With the Target sweater.
yeah.
I go way back.
They never write well for me.
Dang.
Aw.
I've never
Which
tried
is weird.
Yeah.
It's a Yovo nib, Yovo feed. They should write well. I really think it has something to do with the threads. I don't know.
A dud.
I haven't done the blow test on there where I put the cap up to my mouth and see if air escapes.
Oh,
You know.
yeah.
And that's a thing. You got to do it. If you've got a cap clip hole that's not sealed properly, and you got air, or you can use water too, but I always have air. And if you get some escapees there, then you know it's not going to seal very well.
Oh,
Yeah.
makes sense.
So I feel like for me, I mean, I think I traded with someone to get this little moon man. I think it's called the Wancai, like Wancai. I don't know how to even say
No.
that. It was like one of those tiny pens that like unscrews and then you screw the cap onto post, and it's like a little guy, but it's
Mm.
an eyedropper or
Mm.
eyedropperable. And I don't know, I gave it to a lot of pens that I don't like, I give to my mom because I
Nice.
live with my mom and she's super into pens too. And so I'm
Poor
like,
Janet.
I'm always like, Mom, I don't really like this. She's like, I'll take it. Okay. So they just kind of get recycled.
That's nice.
Nice.
Have someone else try it. Yeah.
Oh,
Someone
and
else.
then,
Someone else with lower standards.
Yeah, exactly, right? Oh, man. Or are you going to do the ending?
No, yeah, we were gonna ask you like kind of to wrap up, like, have you been to Japan or like Asia? Because we actually talk about a lot of Asian stationery, like pen product.
No, I
Paper.
would. I would love to. I would love to go to the Tokyo Pen Show one day. But
Yes.
no, I've only ever been out of the country 2 years ago when I went to Italy to visit Aurora and Monte
Oh,
Grappa.
that's
That was the
right.
first time I'd ever been out of the country, other than like maybe a
Nice.
childhood trip to Bahamas one time that I barely remember.
Nice.
Well, like the dream is that everyone shows up at TIPS 2022.
Two?
Yeah, probably.
I really
right?
would. I will so go this year if Japan lets us in, but
I will
but-
so go if Goulet pays me to.
right, exactly.
I know we have
Yeah.
a friend who works at this like game media company, and like she persuades the company to pay her to go to the game convention in
Nice.
Japan, and so she gets
Oh,
to go
that's
every
so
year.
cool. Yeah. Oh
It's
man.
really
Yeah,
nice.
I just don't know what I would do to convince them that, like, yes, here is the value that I would bring by going to
Well,
Tokyo.
do like
Right,
some
no,
live
yeah,
interviews,
totally.
podcasts. You guys have video content, speak like gesture with the glass makers. I would do that.
I feel like they would really love you in Japan for sure.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I would definitely love it. I think that, I'm nerdy enough to get a lot of enjoyment out of
you know
that.
what? Okay, whenever you go, you have to go to. I'm sure you know about Akihabara, the super nerdy. Oh,
Godzilla Land. Oh my goodness.
yeah, it's like
Godzilla cafes.
yeah, it's
Godzilla galleries.
It's kind of the nerd district. It's lots of anime nerds, but also lots of video game, like
Yeah.
electronics and stuff.
My husband
so
was there looking at cars and train sets like for 2 hours.
Oh man.
So okay, there's a shop called Super Potato.
Sign me up.
Yeah, and
I don't even care what they do in there. I'm in. I'm walking through those doors.
It's a multi-story. A lot of shops in Japan are multi-story, and it's like retro games. So I know you're super into that stuff. The only thing that sucks is they have an arcade at the top floor, and I was like, hell yeah, this is awesome. And I went in there, and like they allow smoking in there. I'm like, oh man, it's all gross up here. But other than that top floor, like everything, I screamed in that shop. I was alone, and I'm like screaming at everything.
Was it the one where the pink guy and you
Kirby,
you yell Kirby so loud like every floor?
Like I would pick up a Kirby and go ah. And people are like, what is that white lady doing?
The pink guy, April, come on. The legend, the man himself, the great Kirby.
It just suddenly escaped. My mind went blank for a second.
For
Well,
shame.
you know who's the more knowledgeable one of the duo here. So
Oh,
All right. I'll just know if I need any Matrix trivia, I'll ask you.
the raincoat.
The black raincoats.
So good.
You want to ask him the last question?
Okay. So I prepared a hypothetical for you.
Ooh, fun.
And I'm going to preface for our listeners, if they don't know, Drew Brown really hates Dots candy.
Ugh.
Like a lot. It's the worst. I don't think I've even had Dots candy because who even eats that?
Might neither.
So,
Maybe Elliot does. He loves candy.
And okay, so
Dots.
so you either have Dots candy erased from the world,
Ooh, yay.
but only able to drink bougie coffee, or eat one Dot candy every day, but never has to order another bougie coffee ever again.
Oh man.
That's a hard one.
I might eat the dot.
Dang, you hate bougie coffee that much?
That
I
much?
just if I only have to have like super sweet, funky, weird coffee, I just want my regular hot coffee with cream, some black, just whatever. No, I can't lose that. I can't. I
Oh,
have coffee.
dang.
It's too fixed into my routine.
Yeah.
I have coffee every single day at like 8:45 every night. I sit down, I watch a show with the wife. She goes to bed. I play video games way later than I should, and I go to bed. And that coffee needs to be a part of my thing. So if I need to work a dot in there,
and now
at
like
some
one
point-
dot a day, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not that bad. You could like wash it down with
No,
whatever.
Like you're
no,
drinking a pill.
exactly. And honestly, dots themselves are stupid. I hate them, but the taste is not unbearable. They're sticky and obnoxious. But what I hate about them is that they are everywhere. They're like at convenience stores and at movie theaters. I'm like, why are you here, Dots? There are better candies than you. You don't belong.
There's so many
here.
better
I think Elliot
Yes.
eats those.
No, Elliot.
I
Stop.
know.
Ugh.
that's-
Oh man,
Mm-mm.
worst. I knew there was
Yeah,
something
I'll
about him.
I
take
knew.
the dots. You know, maybe I can like just like take it like a pill and just like swallow it and wash it down with some water.
Just have like a little
Yeah.
slight aftertaste.
Yeah, throw it down like some Tylenol, whatever. It's just, oh yeah, sorry, I gotta take my dot. It's 9:30. Ugh!
Like, why do you do this? So I don't.
I would have,
to
like,
order
one of those
bougie
little-
coffee.
Coffee anymore.
Yeah, I would have one of those like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday pill pockets, each with a dot in it.
There's just a dot in there. Like,
Yep, just
Drew,
flip
what
it
is
open,
this?
flip it open, sigh.
Your
Getting
daily
too old for this
dots.
shit. Yeah,
That's, so
that's a good one. That was a good one.
Yeah, I tried.
Yeah, for those, you guys definitely have to check out Pencast because you guys do that every time, right? At the end of the episode.
Yeah, we'll be doing
Brian's always
one.
like, oh, but what are the rules around this? You're like, no, just say the first thing that comes.
I've got one ready for Wednesday, and I've already got barriers on it, so hopefully he can't escape.
Barriers, yes.
I have to. I got to put rails on this thing.
That's fair.
So good. Well, thank you again, Drew. This has been so fun, and like
Anytime.
we laughed so much this morning. I
It
know
was
it's
a good one.
the afternoon, but we're like, just this definitely woke me up from my
Yeah.
drowsy
Well,
morning.
hey, it's speak for yourself. It's still 11 in the morning for us, but it's later for Drew over there.
It's 2. No, we've got my son's got to do his ukulele online lessons at 3, and then we're gonna
That's
go over.
adorable.
Yeah, every Sunday.
Nice.
Nice.
So and then we're gonna go over to some friend's house for dinner. So it should be a good day. But this definitely added some sunshine to it. But seriously,
Yay.
anytime, call me up. We'll do it again. Whatever.
Awesome.
I'm always here.
Cool. Good
Thank
to
you
know.
so much. So everyone who likes to, really enjoyed this episode, you can see Drew and Brian over at Goulet Pens. They sell amazing fountain pens and all other writing instruments and stationery. And they do that amazing podcast. We talked about Pencast. You can view it on YouTube and listen to it everywhere else.
Yeah.
Definitely hit them up.
Thank
And
you.
Drew, thank you again for a wonderful time.
It has been a pleasure.
We'll catch you
100%.
later.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.